Okay, we can see the second hands are going right in parallel with each other. Everything seems to be running fine. It's vertically oriented. It's just a minute after doing that previous time lapse. So now we're going to take this watch and turn it upside down. See what happens. It's still running. Second hand is still perfectly, or close to perfectly parallel. About a minute has passed. And it seems to have stopped. It's no longer, the second hand on the watch is no longer parallel. In fact, it's not moving. So it took about a minute and a half from when I turned it upside down that it stopped. As we saw before on the time lapse, when it's right side up, it was able to run for well over five minutes with no problem. In fact, I've done time lapses where it's going for 6 hours, perfectly tracking time if it's vertical. You know, look inside there, and we can see that the flywheel, it has stopped moving. It's kind of hard to see, but it's the wheel that actually moderates the movement is actually stopped. Normally it oscillates back and forth. Now if we take it and turn it right side up, and look at it again, we can see that it's begun to rotate again. And very likely if we hold it like this for the next 8 hours, 12 hours, it'll continue to rotate and it'll track time perfectly. Turn it upside down, and usually within a minute it'll come to a stop. You can see it's still moving, so 15 seconds since it was turned upside down again. And usually takes about a minute and a half before whatever the forces of gravity on the gears that are inside this. It could be one specific gear because it takes about a minute. It could be that there's something on the second hand or something that within a single minute, whatever the gears are that are meshed that are having issues, on that watch will kick in. And well, let's just see what happens here. We'll let it go and see if it stops within the next 30 seconds or so. You can see it's still moving. Stopped. So yeah, that was about 45 seconds, maybe a minute. But this is a reliable test. So wind it. This was a fully wound watch. Wind it to the full, and hold it upright. And of course, it stopped right at the moment, but just a quick tap, and it'll start up. And once it starts up, it'll reliably, you could probably let it go for 24 hours. It'll continue to function perfectly and track perfect time. But turn it upside down, and within a minute or 2 minutes at most, it'll come to a stop.